Hello Lions fans, and welcome back for another Lions Lowdown video, as today we will preview the 2015 Molloy College women's lacrosse season with head coach Tom Campolettano. Tom, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack.
All right, Coach, let's begin as we always do with a recap from last year. A season ago, your team finished with a 9-7 overall record and a mark of 5-3 in the East Coast Conference, earning a berth to the inaugural ECC postseason tournament. Early on this season and into the start of this season, what have you been telling your team on how you guys can build off of last year's campaign?
Well, the nice thing is that we, having graduated only 3 people, it's a lot easier to build on what they saw and to know basically what you have going into this year. Last year was a kind of a tough year, having to replace 10 starters right out of the gate. We sort of never got untracked and never really got a true identity of what our team was. I think now we have a more of a feel for what we have to offer, and I think the girls know a little bit more about who they are and what they are as a team.
All right, Tom, can you now give the fans a little recap on how things have been going since January when your team started preseason, and what sort of things you're working on in practice?
Just trying to up tempo and try to get our girls take advantage of what we have. I mean, they're pretty excited about what's going on. We're pretty excited as a staff. We got a nice mix of the returners and some newcomers, and we feel we really have. We feel we got a good thing going.
All right. Speaking of those returners and newcomers, you led perfectly right into my next question, as I want to dive into your roster. First off, let's speak about some of the veterans returning in Casey Knabb, Katie O'Brien, and Chelsea Bauer, and what their leadership means to this team.
Well, Katie O'Brien has been, she's been phenomenal. I mean, she basically forced us to add her as our third captain this year, just for everything that she does, not only on the field, but what she means to this team off the field and what she means to Molloy in general. She just brings a great deal of caring to not only the team but to the Molloy community. On the field, she's been fabulous so far. She works really hard. Casey Knabb probably has stepped up. I mean, she's coming back from an injury last year, and she's going to be counted on as a senior to sort of step up a level of leadership ability without necessarily being named the captain. Chelsea's going to anchor the defense, and she's an aggressive kid, and she brings. If we can harness that a little bit, she's going to do some good things for us on the back end this year.
All right, Coach. And one other returner will be sophomore midfielder Cooper Sesam, and she was the recipient of last year's Molloy Department of Athletics Female Rookie of the Year Award. What kind of sophomore campaign do you expect from her?
I expect the sky's the limit with Cooper. She can be as good as she wants to be. There's no limit to her game. She runs the field. She's a big, strong midfielder. Does a lot of things for us, both offensively and defensively. If you look the definition of a midfielder up in the lacrosse dictionary, Cooper Sesam's name would definitely fit in there.
All right, now rounding out the roster, let's discuss some of your newcomers. You've brought in a lot, as you have 6 freshmen, 2 junior transfers, and 1 graduate student joining your team this year. Could you please speak about a couple of these new players and which could have an immediate impact on your team?
Well, right from the start, Shannon Defelice, who's our grad student, who spent 4 years up at UMass, obviously had 1 year of a red shirt, so that's why she's able to be on the field. She brings a top-level D1 attitude and work ethic, and she really has made Katie O'Brien a better player. So we're counting on big things for her, and even though she's not a captain, she knows that her leadership and what she has to say, the girls listen to. We also, Kim Pepe, who came over from Farmingdale, has added a little bit of a jolt to our offense, and she's going to be a big help, we feel, in the midfield and possibly in the attack end. Jess Markowitz and Lindsay Resin-Pollock, who are 2 of our freshmen. We expect both of them, Lindsay on the defensive end and Jess in the offensive end, to bring one to bring some firepower and one to bring a little bit more grit onto the back end. Kayla Hanley, who came from St. Francis, in Pennsylvania is another D1 type kid. So in reality, we feel we have 4 Division I players who were added to the roster in Jess, Lindsay, Shannon, and also Kayla Hanley. So that's a big lift to our program.
All right, Tom, next question for you. We went over what you guys did last season. We went through your roster. We talked about what you guys have been doing during preseason practice. What are your expectations for this year?
We're setting the bar up a little high. There's no reason, number one, that we shouldn't be in the playoffs in the conference. And who knows? If things fall the right way, maybe surprise some people along the way, and hopefully find our way into the top 20, which top 20, maybe in the top 15, with an outside shot at the top 10 nationally. So we expect big things of these girls. Like I said earlier, my staff and I are very, very excited about this year's team, and we'll see where it takes us.
All right, Tom, and if we could please quickly look at the East Coast Conference this year, what squads are you looking at as your team's toughest competition?
Well, it always starts with LIU Post and Dowling. Post might have this may be a little down year for Post, but when you've been a national champion, how many down years do you have? Dowling seems to be the team, in my opinion, that should be the number 1 team in the conference. They have the preseason Defender of the Year and the preseason Offensive Player of the Year, and they're tied with LIU Post for the number 1 slot preseason-wise in the conference. So both of those teams are definitely. St. Thomas Aquinas has improved. Last year they had a fantastic year, and Roberts Wesleyan's got those upstate girls who bring a lot of grit and to it, and Mercy. So the conference as a whole, I think, is getting a lot better, and we'll see how things go. We're gonna have our work cut out for us. There's no easy games on our schedule.
All right, thanks again, Tom, for taking some time out of your schedule to sit down with us. Fans, that was Head Coach Tom Campolettano of the women's lacrosse team here at Molloy College. The Lions begin their 2015 campaign on Friday, February 13th, when they travel down to Florida to play St. Leo University beginning at 7 p.m. Lions fans, don't forget you can always find links to live stats and audio-video broadcasts, as well as recaps, box scores, news, notes, and analysis for your Lions women's lacrosse team by logging on to MolloyLions.com. Best of luck this year, Tom.
Thanks, Chad.
All right, Lions fans, we continue our women's lacrosse discussion today by welcoming in junior midfielder Katie O'Brien. Katie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. Katie, you're entering your junior season here at Molloy. Please take us in the preseason of this past season, and if at all, if it's been different from your last 2 preseasons.
Well, starting off my freshman year, I didn't really know what I was getting into, because as a freshman, you're kind of just going in blind. You're coming in from high school, so it's a lot different from high school. But the last 2 preseasons and this previous preseason, it's been really intense. It hasn't really been different from the last few years that I've been here, but we've been working really hard. We're looking forward to the season, a lot. So I feel that this season is different than the previous seasons in that the chemistry between me and the girls and all the players on the team and the coaches has been really strong, in that we're really getting along off the field and on the field as well. So I hope that'll continue to the season.
I think you might have answered my next question. I was going to ask, since you stepped onto the field as a freshman in the spring of 2012, actually the fall of 2011 for your fall bowl season, but what would be the biggest change in the program that you've seen? Would you say it's the chemistry and camaraderie?
I definitely say that the chemistry has changed tremendously since I've been here. It's a really warm feeling with the girls. We're all getting along. We're laughing on the field. We laugh off the field. We're really just getting along very well on the field. So it's really going to show when we play.
All right, Katie, last question I have for you before we let you go today. Last season, your team earned a berth to the ECC playoffs. So it was the first time the East Coast Conference had a postseason tournament. What are your expectations for your team this campaign as you try to get back to the playoffs?
You know, last year we were very lucky to get into the playoffs. I think we deserved it, you know, and any team would sit here and say, you know, we deserve to get into the playoffs, we deserve to go this far, yada, yada, yada. But I honestly think that this year is going to be one of the best years that I would say the coaches have seen in a while, you know. As I said before, the chemistry is just really strong, and I feel that that's really going to show on the field, and it's really going to bring us a long way. So we're all looking and hoping to see that we get into the playoffs, maybe even get to the championship, and maybe even win the whole thing. So it should be a fun and entertaining year this year, so stay tuned.
All right, well, as the program turns 10 years old this season, it will be the 10th season of the women's lacrosse program at Molloy. Maybe it is time for big things to happen, as you were saying. We'll definitely be looking forward to it and following you guys all season long. All right, Lions fans, we now wrap up our women's lacrosse season preview today by welcoming in senior defender Elyse Orski. Elyse, thanks so much for sitting down with us today. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Elyse, first question I have for you. You're entering your senior season. How different will this campaign be for you, knowing it's the last one in the Lions uniform?
Knowing that it's my last year, I just want to go out with a bang and just take every chance that we can get and just get it into the palm of our hands and just make sure that we have a successful season.
All right, Elyse, last year your team earned a berth to the inaugural East Coast Conference postseason tournament. What are your expectations for your team this year?
My expectations for the team this year is that we get into the postseason tournament again, and hopefully we can go further than we went last year. Last year we only went into one game and we lost to LIU Post, but I'm hoping we can get there again and then hopefully beat the first team and get to the next game.
All right, and last question before we let you go today. Could you please speak about your coaching staff? Coach Tom Campolettano will be entering his 10th season at the helm of the program, the only coach the Lions have ever had as he started the program back in 2006. How does this coaching staff prep you and your teammates to have the best possible shot to win on game day?
The coaching staff is phenomenal at Molloy. I mean, I love all of them. They are always there to push us. They're striving to make us better every single day, even when we're not so fun to be around. But they're great. I love them so much. They push us. They're understanding about class. They're great. I couldn't say anything bad about them.
All right, Elyse, thanks again for taking some time out of your day to speak with us today. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
Fans, that was Elyse Orski, senior defender on your Molloy women's lacrosse team.